Good day, everyone. Ali Safi here from Safi Financial Network. Today is October 28, 2024. Here is another daily analysis. All right, we are just coming back with a very, very crazy week ongoing. Tomorrow we will have lots of good earnings from, I don't know if it's going to be good earnings, but from good companies. Apple, it's going to be on Thursday. I believe Meta is going to be on uh, Wednesday, and also tomorrow, which is Tuesday, is going to be Alphabet as well. So Alphabet, I believe Microsoft as well. So they're going to just announce their earnings tomorrow. Lots of volatility is coming after hours for sure. And also just that during past weekend, we had Israel retaliation against Iran. And it's kind of like a give a market, kind of like a volatility, especially in crude, gold, and also indexes as well for future market when market open on Sunday evening. So let's get to the chart and see what chart tells us, because we will have a very, very interesting time coming pre-election week. This week, just to start at S&P 500 daily chart, we just got a positive a day, but I should say market just sold off after early session positive. So it's kind of like a close positive, but the narrow body bar. And I'm kind of like a seeing market doesn't have enough momentum to the upside. And it's kind of like a forming a very nice small bearish consolidation just right above SMA 20. So if market goes down by Wednesday, Thursday, we should we shouldn't be surprised at all. So we can see market is just coming down, especially pre-election to test SMA 50, which is coming exactly at the top of this pivotal point, middle of this wide range bar, and also getting into very, very important institutional level, which is this previous consolidation area, somewhere around 56.92. That's going to be the area that I'm looking at. But November 4 is going to be election day, which is Monday. Again, that's going to be another crazy week next week, and we will have lots of volatility. But I would say we are getting into a corrective period. So this week, even with the earnings coming, I'm not sure what's going to be the result, but we should see some kind of like a downtick for the market, especially pre-election. And then when we are getting to 56.92, 56.90, then we should see if market hold and give us a bounce, then we can just buy election period. Otherwise, we're going to have another potential sharp correction to the downside to 55 to 55.61. So that's the area that I'm looking at for S&P 500. Moving on to Nasdaq, it's kind of like the same. Nasdaq just gapped up on the future market, but it doesn't give us a higher high, just that gave us a lower high, a doji bar, managed positive. But look at the candles here. Sellers taking control when index is getting above a 20,400. So whenever price is getting above 20,400, sellers took control and market just sold off after that. Especially today, semiconductors, they didn't have good session. They were all mixed. Nvidia just managed red, and also the other names actually were negative as well. So we will get to semis as well, but I would say Nasdaq is kind of like a forming a topping phase here, and we can see a sell-off coming down the road, potentially to 19,000 area, somewhere around mid-November. Moving on to to Dow Jones, which kind of like a boosted from financials. So we got this trend line on a weekly analysis, and we mentioned that we may see a bounce for Dow. And sure enough, we just got a bounce today. Financials, they did very well today, boosted Dow Jones to the upside. So 42,500, that's the area that I'm looking at for kind of like a resistance here. When we get there, if we see another sell off to 41,800, we should see some kind of like a support coming back here around this area. So if it breaks below this level, which is 41,800, I believe Dow can go all the way down to 40,100 area. So that's the area that I'm looking at for Dow Jones. But again, everyone needs to be careful. We are at the pre-election season, and this week we can see a continuation of sell-off coming to the other names, stretching to the other names as well. Moving on to gold, which had a negative day, but kind of like getting back to the upside, especially after hours. Right now, future market, gold hit a pretty close to new all-time high. So 27.55. Right now, it's just forming. I believe still gold can go to the negative price action afterwards. So I know that I'm kind of like a negative and bearish on gold, but if gold is getting back to the downside, I would say it's got to be very bad. It can go to 25 to 25.50 at least for the first support. But if we get below this, we're going to go all the way down to 21 to 2200. The reason is monthly chart and weekly chart. And if you haven't seen my weekly analysis, make sure watch that one because I explained it why I'm just looking for these areas to be touched by gold potentially by first half of 2025. And that would be kind of like a lifetime buying opportunity, by the way. Moving on to silver. Silver had a rally right now after hours. It's just getting back to 40 points to the upside, 1.19% to the upside. Not a bad session for silver. Again, we should see if it's following in New York session as well. So right now, bearish consolidation, 3 doji bar here. So we can see a bounce, but this bounce can head to higher high, potentially with a very nice divergence, and that would be form the bot at the top here as well, somewhere around 35 to 36. Then ultimately, I'm looking for a sharp decline for silver. I'm looking for a very, very lower prices. So this is kind of like overstretched, overbought, and looking for a corrective move for silver potentially down the road in December or January for potential buying opportunities. So we will see. I'm not sure about the timing for the price wise. I'm kind of like very confident that we will have a good sharp correction for all precious metals down the road, especially when we are getting later to the end of this year. Moving on to crude, which had a sell-off today after their Israel attack. So it just annihilated to 67, 69. Right now it is at $68. So futures market actually shows negative. And if crude gets below this pivot, which is a 65 below, I would say this pattern forms a very, very sharp sell-off, potentially to $50 area. I'm sure that you have watched my previous videos. I'm kind of like a bullish. Still, I'm bullish on energy, but crude actually showing me that we are getting into this head and shoulder pattern. So if this triggers to the downside, we may see some kind of like a breakthrough below 65. If it goes below 65, I believe crude is heading down for a lower low, at least for a short term, to form the bottom. However, I'm just looking for a very, very interesting area of 51 to 53 as a kind of like a very good potential buying opportunity. But there is going to be a bullish signal here. If crude, this is very, very strong if, folks, if crude stays above 65 and getting back to the upside, that would be very bullish signal for crude, and we may see some kind of like a good capitulation here for a next buying opportunity to the upside, potentially to 80 to $100. Still looking for this. Still, I'm kind of like a bullish as long as we are above this important September low here on crude, which is kind of like a forming final low based on my cycle. So we will see how it goes. Moving on to individual names, starting with Bitcoin. Fantastic breakout for Bitcoin. We are just getting above 70,000 area. Right now, Bitcoin is trading at 71,300, which is kind of like an interesting scenario because we were talking about this breakout. We were talking about this bullish signal, and we were talking about this since Bitcoin was here. So if you follow my channel, I was kind of like a bullish on Bitcoin with numerous patterns I show you from the monthly, weekly, and here is the daily chart that Bitcoin is getting a start to its rally. Right now, we just got very, very breakthrough above very, very important level, which is 70,000, just because this 70,000 pivot initiate this lower low, initiate this capitulation. And right now we are just engulfing about this 70,000 broken. And right now we are just heading to potential new all-time high very soon. And I'm sure that you have watched my video. 92, actually 86 to 92 is going to be the level that I'm looking at for Bitcoin. So I'm pretty excited just because my self-subscribers accumulate lots of IBIT, which is ETF for um, Bitcoin funded by BlackRock. Make sure watch that one as well. And also Coin forms a bullish pattern as well. So Ethereum the same, just they're getting back to the upside 2% right now in the positive territory. If Ethereum goes above 2770, then there is going to be important level, which is 2800. If it goes above this, that's going to be 3500 down the road. Bond yield, just getting back to the downside after hours when we got into important level, which is 412% to 28%, this is the area that I'm looking at. This is institutional level. This is a breakthrough below this important level. So right now we just got a back test for a next sell-off to the downside. Moving on to TLT, which is Treasury, just getting back to the downside. I believe this is a final low for Treasury, folks. So if bond yield is getting back to the downside, Treasury is going to go back up. And tomorrow we will have a potential kind of like a bottom for this drop. And this is kind of like the final bottom. I'm still looking for a 103 to 105 by end of this year, which is going to be another 10 to 15% positive. Moving on to VIX, just 53 cents down today. Not a bad session. Still bullish, waiting for a corrective move for getting back to the upside. Dixie just forming a topping here after a parabolic rally to the upside. This is a vertical rally to the upside, and we should see Dixie is getting back to the downside. Magma indicator is just forming bullish consolidation here. $7 positive, not a bad session, but this week we will have a breakout either to the upside or downside just because we will have lots of earnings. And this is a Microsoft, Apple, Meta, Amazon, and Google. So all of them will have earning this week. Lots of gaps are coming. Potentially, we will have a final breakout this week. Apple $1.99 to the upside, not a bad session. Thursday it's going to be Apple earning, lots of volatility down the road. The same as for Amazon, 56 cents up, not a bad session. Still holding up above 180, but we will see if it goes below this neckline, which I believe it's going to happen. So with market correction, will Amazon just go back to the downside, and it gives us kind of like a good buying opportunity somewhere around here. I would say we're gonna just buy back Amazon somewhere around here. Meta just a $4.91 up today, another bad session. However, sellers control when it hits this trend line here. Microsoft $1.56 negative today. That was just a one, actually with Tesla and Nvidia. These three actually in Max 7 ended up negative. Google tomorrow will have earning. Google just a breakout, jump up and sold off entire intraday and then getting back to the upside. Is this kind of like a bullish breakout and this is just a back test or pullback, or this is just a fake breakout? So time will tell, and it's going to be very soon. Tomorrow after hours, we will have a sharp movement for Google. Potential, I would say this pattern is bullish. So we will see if it goes 172 to 177, I wouldn't surprise at all. Netflix at $5.56 down today. Tesla 2% down after a nice surge to the upside. I believe Tesla rally is over. But this kills lots of bears and bulls at the same time, because bulls actually, if you were bull and if you bought it, that would be great, good for you. But if you didn't, so you missed. And right now Tesla is coming back down. I believe Tesla 220 again coming back to test this trend line as well. Moving on to semiconductor index, SMH just getting back to the downside, $1.75 down today. SOX 14 cents up. Taiwan Semiconductor 4% to the downside. So this one leading today in a downside move. $8.76 down. AMD $3.69 up. Nvidia $2 down today. I believe Nvidia topped, and earning is going to be November time, so we will have lots of time. Texas Instruments $1.10 down. Lam Research $2.23 down today after earning last week. So Lamb cannot manage even higher high, even not a strong lower high, just a very, very kind of like a very typical bounce. Middle of this wide range bar, getting back to the downside. So Lamb research can go down to 52 to 54. If you ask me, this is the area that I'm looking at. Moving Moving on to banking sector, which was a booster for Dow today, XLF going back up. I believe that was just the dead cat bounce, and I don't think Dow is going to get back to a strong rally. KBE 2% to the upside, not a bad session. KRE 2.87% to the upside. Good price action today. JP Morgan at $3.19 up, not a bad session at all. And also Goldman Sachs at $10.98 up. A good actually movement for all banks. Bank of America 73 cents up, and Wells Fargo $1.08. So if bank rolls over, we should be concerned. Right now they hold up very well, and I believe that these are at the final stage of their rally. Gold miners 20 cents down today after kind of like a 3 4 days correction. They came down and they're due for bounce, potentially bounce for tomorrow. GDXJ 23 cents up, down, sorry. AEM, Agnico Eagle 12 cents down. Newmont after sharp sell-off last week, it just managed a 6 cents negative today. But I believe that it can go higher. It can go to the middle of this white range bar to 51 area, 51.86. Franco-Nevada 36 cents up, not a bad session. And Gold Barrick managed positive strongly, and 37 cents to the upside. XLE, which is energy stocks, they just gap down. But look at the buyers. Buyers came back nicely. So still there is going to be a hope if this is just a capitulation or something big is coming. XOP, the same here, $1.79 down, but everyone just got back into them. OIH, the same pattern here. Exxon, the same pattern. Look at that, gap down. But the entire session, buyers took control and just jacked the price higher. Chevron, the same here, just testing 148, and buyers still, they're not helpless, and they are not actually disappointing of this. They just have their back and putting the price higher for these stocks. So we'll see if that action for today just potential, I would say, emotional drop for energy stocks. So we will see how it goes. All right, folks, I believe I covered everything. Lots of good videos are coming down the road. I believe that you shouldn't wait more just because my studio is ready. So mic is ready, and I got new lighting as well. So lots of good quality videos are coming down the road. Stay tuned for those ones. Have a fantastic evening. See you on the chart. Bye-bye.